Dear DEMS, what good is winning if afterwards you are unable to see your own reflection? We need to manifest respect for ourselves and for each other. I was watching Ralph Nader today, and that's where I got the idea. Including for the lowliest and the least powerful. We need to find the compassion within ourselves that exists for the sake of collective justice. Democracy is better for all of us than plutocracy. Sucking up to power as individuals while selling out our fellows as a collective is why we are in our current state. A devil's bargain has been made between comfortable, affluent voters and the oligarchy. Affluent voters seem to fare pretty well regardless of who is president, who is in Congress, and who is in the judiciary. The children of affluent constituents have good schools, adequate health care, clean water, and access to higher education, regardless of which political party is running things. The reason the rest of society fares so poorly is because of this devil's bargain. We know many of these affluent people personally. We know where they live. We see them in the community. Some of us see them in the bathroom mirror. We need to shame these people, even if they are ourselves, into refusing to continue to suck up to power that enriches itself at the expense of those on the bottom rungs of the socioeconomic ladder. We need to insist that none of us accept elected officials who are corporatists. We must replace them. We must never vote for them. Yes, that means Joe Biden. And we must insist that our political party insiders never succeed in using scare tactics on us to extort, blackmail us into voting for lesser evil candidates. We even need to go so far as to insist that our lower level administrators, such as those who run, say, universities or labor unions, as only a couple of examples, do not succumb to dehumanizing bean-counting values. We need to hold all of them accountable. And we need to stop consuming the opinions of corporatists in the punditry. That might mean turning off the radio and television altogether, or at least not tuning into corporate news shows. We need to show solidarity with all of our fellow humans. At the end of the day, we all want and need the same things. So what has happened to the idea of inalienable rights? And why are some of us more equal than others? The premise here is not about left versus right. The central tenet of this thesis is about basic human decency and our ability to insist collectively that if any of us suffer, particularly our children, 1 in 5 of whom are hungry, then we all suffer. So practically speaking, what can we do to ensure that we have a reflection to show when we look in the mirror? Pragmatically, I mean. Realistically speaking, all that jazz. It's much more simple than many, especially those who have an exploitative agenda, might like to admit. We need to hold each other accountable. We need to talk about this stuff. We need to ask each other about national and local elections and how we feel about issues, policies, and individual candidates. We need to read articles such as this one aloud to those around us who most need to hear, and in an insistent tone of voice. And yes, this is worth breaking up families for. This is worth foregoing peace around the Thanksgiving table. This is worth missing out on that promotion at work or on keeping our cushy job. In short, this is a sacred duty and trust. We need to be insistent with ourselves and with others. We need to be much more aware of what we have that those nearby and abroad do not have. We need to be much more aware of how other people's children are treated by police or in school. We need to be aware of who is hungry and who has clean water to drink. We also need to be aware of who is getting bombed and droned and who lives in repressive conditions because of U.S. imperialism. Our current state of affairs is both a national disgrace and failure, as well as a personal disgrace and failure. And those of us delivering this message must insist that our voices are heard, regardless of the cost to our personal and professional relationships. Because ultimately, what we are talking about is our collective freedom. And as of right now, we simply do not have it.